Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video with me, your boy Fifa 1 HD. We are going to be doing something quite special in this video, and we are going to be looking at what happens with custom tactics when you set everything to 100 and when you set everything to 1, to see just how important they are, what happens, and how much of an impact it actually makes in game, because it's something that I've always been interested in. I've always sort of tweaked and played around with, and you never really know exactly how important they are until you set them all at 100 or 1. So we're going to go down to custom tactics now. This is what I was using, and I'm going to whack them all up to 100, as you can see there, just on the passing, and keep going all the way through to 100. Now the reason for doing this is because this should really imbalance the team, because it's saying that one thing should be the most important, but then the complete opposite should be as well. So, you know, it should be interesting. I have no idea how this is going to work, what it's going to do to the team, but it will be very, very interesting to find out, in my opinion. And I think it should be very, very unbalanced is what I predict. And when I actually started playing, you can see that going forward, it was very, very good. The players made some fantastic runs. I had tons of chances in this game, and I'm showing you one game of each just because they were very similar. But at the back, you can see that we were really open, and the midfield didn't really help out as much. You can see them sort of hanging about a little bit, maybe not going quite as back as they would be normally. And there you go. There's a classic example of how open this made the team. You know, often only 2 or 3 players back at times. Very easy to be counter-attacked against. And we actually ended up going 1-0 down because of how bad this was. The one good thing was, like I said, obviously it did mean that we were quite good going forward. So we had tons of chances created, and really this game should have been put to bed much earlier. So we'll see the halftime stats. He had that one chance which he managed to score, and that was really down to the custom tactics. But more possession, more shots on target for us. And on another day, it could have easily been 2 or 3-1, no question at all. So coming back into the second half, and we continue to see chances created. So it really was a very high pressure, lots of players up the field, sort of formation and style with this custom tactic. So it worked great for that, and it really was very attacking. And we, like I said, we had tons of chances. The only issue was that in defence, it was absolutely terrible. So there you see us go 2-1 up. And deservedly take the lead, and it was about time, to be honest. But again, you will see just how vulnerable. There you go. David Luiz, who is a very aggressive player, really pushes high up when you have everything set to 100. And if it wasn't for this brilliant tackle from Smalling, we would have been absolutely all over the place, and it probably would have been 2-2 in all honesty. Again, you can quite easily see how much they step up and how easy it was. So there's tons of room in behind for them to get in, and again it was you know, being saved a little bit there and stopping us from drawing the match. And that's where it ended. Even though there were chances created for the other team, it was still pretty one-sided in my opinion, and the stats I think will back that up quite conclusively. So it wasn't terrible to play with, let me just put it this way. It just was a bit like gung-ho, going maybe like a, you know, quite attacking in all honesty. As you can see there, 17 shots, 10 on target, way more possession. He did have a lot more chances in the second half. The game opened up a little bit, but it was easily won. I should have won. I'm glad I did win. We're going to go now, and we're going to set everything to 1. Can't set everything to 0, so I'll whack everything down to 1. But I'll just speak a little bit more about setting everything to 100. So, attacking, it was brilliant. Players made some fantastic runs. Everyone was moving. The team was very high up, so it was easy to retain the ball. But like I said, when they got in behind, it was very, very bad and left me open an awful lot, which wasn't very good. So we'll just go ahead and whack everything down to 1 from 100. As you can see there, just bringing crossing down. Now this is going to be very interesting, because in theory it should be the other way round. It should be quite defensive and not much going forward, because I mean we're pretty much asking them not to do any build-up play, not to take any chances, and for the defence to be very, you know, sitting back and very reserved. So in theory, that is how it should work, but we will see in a minute when I show you some of the gameplay just how it panned out. As I said, I'm showing you one game per sort of custom tactic that we're using, but I did play multiple ones and it was all repeated in those, so I just thought I'd show you these as an example to back up the sort of points of what actually happens when you do set your custom tactics to these figures. I don't think it's something that anyone's going to want to go out and try. As you can see here in this clip, we have lots of people back. You know, the midfield has dropped an awful lot, and it's just invited tons of pressure on us. It was so hard to move. You really had to pass the ball to get anyone to move. As you can see here, I'm having to go backwards, really trying to get them open, and only one player in attack there, and unfortunately it was cleared off the line. But it just shows you how poor it was going forward, and it took ages to get people to actually run forward. We sort of get caught on the break here, but we still got quite a lot of numbers back. The guy pulled out a lovely bit of skill and then sweats the ball across for a simple finish. Now, some people would moan about that. In some ways, you know what, he deserved it. It was quite close in some regards. You know, he hadn't gone way over with the shots, but like I said, it certainly invited some pressure on. He had way more of the ball, and it was so difficult to actually create anything because you just didn't really have anyone making any decent runs. There was no options about at all. And it just was a really poor way of playing. So if you were going to use any one of them, just as a joke, I'd definitely go for everything on 100 because it feels way better and it's a lot more entertaining. This was just absolutely boring. We go 2-0 down. Another sweaty goal. But he did carve us open in fairness. And that was the end of the game. It was so difficult to create anything. Just invited loads of pressure on, setting everything. So as expected, you know, the team offered nothing going forward really. Although we did have a good chance with Gray where we should have scored really. The best player was David Luiz, which sort of sums that up in all honesty. We have a look here at the stats, and in fairness, we actually had some efforts, but like I said, it was a real stretch to get those, and they were a few from long range. Weren't very, very good in all honesty. But 47% possession, he dominated in that respect, and it was just a really terrible way of playing. So that is what happens when you set everything to 100 and everything to 1. As expected, you know, the team goes totally gung-ho on 100 and is super reserved on 1. So it shows that custom tactics are very important. That is the way that we should be looking at them, tweaking them a little bit, but ultimately, even when you do set them on crazy, you know, sort of levels, they still play okay. You can still use them, so I wouldn't read too much into it, but they are important and they are worth, you know, sort of tweaking a little bit, but it certainly won't be the be-all and end-all. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and peace.